We're down to our final 4 teams of the playoffs, and we're going to talk about how those teams got to that point in this week's Pro Football Weekly Spin Cycle, joined by senior writer Eric Edholm. Eric, when we talk about what we learned this week, it's maybe a reason why some teams are going to be sitting at home next weekend.
Yeah, I really thought the end of game and even end of half execution really lacked precision in a lot of cases. When we talked, obviously, in the previous video about Broncos choosing to kneel at the end of regulation, tie game, 30 seconds left, 2 timeouts. You've got the Hall of Fame quarterback there. I know he's been struggling a little bit. That was a problem. The Seahawks botching a couple possessions at the end of the first half, but that last one really felt pretty bad. You wanted to get some points on the board, couldn't get it done. Pete Carroll with the timeouts there. And even a team who won, the Patriots, I thought they really misplayed the end of the first half there. 10 points in the final minute 15, but really that last one was a tough one for them. And it kind of kept the Texans in the game. Maybe they could have blown them out a little early. So some of the play calling, some of the execution, some of the head coach's decisions, I think really came back to bite them.
Yeah, very unlike the Patriots, usually very good at the end of first halves. And back to that Denver situation, we're going to hear about it a lot. It wasn't just at the end of regulation, too. It was before that.
Yep.
The run plays, maybe throw it on third down because the Ravens are out of timeouts. A lot of question marks for John Fox, Peyton Manning, and that Broncos team to think about over the offseason. What was your biggest surprise of this weekend's playoff games?
I think it was kind of how ordinary Green Bay looked offensively. I mean, there were times, obviously, Aaron Rodgers sort of flashed his rapier and looked pretty good at times. But, you know, the wide receivers I thought were pretty limited. You know, we heard all week about how Jermichael Finley was going to be a big target. He only had a few receptions. You know, the run game sprung loose for a couple of nice plays. But overall, I thought it was a pretty tepid performance. Now, a lot of that had to do with the 49ers, the way they played, bringing up 579 yards offense, keeping Rodgers off the field. But, you know, really that offensive line got completely whipped. You know, the receivers couldn't get off the line. The tight ends weren't a factor. So Green Bay's offense looking pretty ordinary. A lot of new faces next year in that group.
And that was really the problem with the Packers all year long. We kept wondering, when are they going to finally explode? And they had a couple games where we saw this is the Rodgers, Jordy Nelson, Greg Jennings that we're used to. But that O-line really struggled all year and a lot of injuries. But you're right, interesting to see what it looks like in the next season. Player of the week, some interesting options. When you have guys like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers playing, it was the young guys, the young guns that stepped up.
I'm really tempted to say Russell Wilson right here. If he hadn't lost, I think that's probably our pick. But Colin Kaepernick was outstanding. I mean, 16 rushes, 181 yards, most ever by a quarterback in any game, playoff, regular season, whatever. 2 rushing touchdowns. Obviously, kind of got back for his early mistake with 1 rushing early in the first half, and then 263 through the air. I thought he was terrific. He was the best player on the field by the end of that game. He looks so confident right now.
Yeah, I think there are still some people out there that thought that Alex Smith maybe should have still been the starter, especially when you're playing a Packers team. You want a veteran in the playoffs, but I think Colin Kaepernick put all of those to rest for right now. Well, we got a really exciting slate of games for next weekend, but that was our spin cycle for this weekend's games. For all of our analysis, head to the website at profootballweekly.com.